Good evening, everyone. My name is Jerry Koza, and I'm the proud principal of Great Neck North Middle School. It is an absolute pleasure to welcome you here, although virtually, to our event this evening. There's definitely a much better feel when we can speak to a crowd, and hopefully we are at the point soon where we'll be able to do that. But for tonight's event, we are virtual, and we are excited to see or know that you see us here, and we'll have some conversations tonight. We have a great bunch of panelists here that will be speaking tonight to you. So first of all, just on behalf of the whole staff and family at North Middle School, welcome to our school. We have parents from Baker, Saddle Rock, JFK, and Lakeville, and we are excited to welcome your elementary students to soon be middle school students to North Middle School. I'll start the introduction. So I'll start, again, I don't know what your screen looks like, but Miss Anderson, Jennifer Anderson, who's one of the assistant principals, Miss Nancy Gunning, who's the other assistant principal. We have Miss Christine Sposito, who is a Team Adventure team leader. We have Trina Rice, who is Team Discovery team leader. We have Dr. Tracy Siegel, who is the current 6th grade counselor and also the chairperson of our counseling department. We have Miss Michelle Israel, who's going to be the counselor of 6th grade next year. We have Miss Carrie Yee and Miss Margaret Adams, our amazing co-presidents of the PTO. So again, I want to welcome everyone to this evening's event. At this point, I'm going to begin sharing my screen with you so you can take a look at a Prezi that we have planned for you. So tonight's event should take approximately 1 hour, and we're going to just talk to you about the beginning of your adventure here to the middle school of North Middle School. So I will go through the slideshow. There's a time at the end for some Q&A. You will type those questions in and we'll try and help you answer those. If not, we want you to know that this transition begins now in March, but really we're in month 3 of the year. We don't start until really September. So we have 6 months before you're official. But we want you to use that time to get to know us more so that we can help you with that transition, especially for those of you out there who are going through this for the first time. For those of you that are watching that are veterans, please make sure that you're speaking to your other parents and letting them know that it's going to be okay. Middle school is quite an adventure. So again, North Middle School, an incredible middle school. Of course, I'm biased, but we're going to do everything we can along our way to not only have a curriculum that's challenging, equitable, empowering, but also developmentally responsive, recognizing that our middle schoolers are unique in the age group. The amount of growth that goes on in a middle school student from the time that he or she is 9 or 10 to the time they're 16 is an incredible amount of growth, maturity, socially, emotionally, academically, and physically. You will see that. I know that when my son started going through his middle school years, especially, our food bill increased dramatically as we went through that. I do, at this point, want to turn it over. There's nothing more important than our partnership with our parents. You're here this evening because you're excited about your child's transition to our school, to your new home. And that is a result of having a great coordination and cooperation with our PTO, our parent body. So please get involved in the PTO, be part of our school. We want you here. Hopefully we'll be having more and more events where parents are in the school. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Adams and Ms. Yee to speak a little bit about the PTO.
Good evening. I'm Margaret Adams, and this is Carrie Yee, and this is our 2nd year as co-presidents. We would like to welcome you all to the North Middle School family. As parents and PTA presidents, we are lucky to have the unwavering support of Dr. Kozine, Ms. Gunning, and Ms. Anderson. All the teachers, the office staff, the custodians, and all the other amazing individuals who are the glue that keep this school together. NMS is not only an amazing school, but we have the best faculty and staff. And our principal, Dr. Kozine, is an amazing person who genuinely cares for your children. If you don't already know it, you will see it. And come September, your children will know it. And we'll get to know and love him as well as the rest of the administration. Now, I know I've said this before, but I will say it again. No matter the weather, you will always see them on Polo Road at dismissal. You will also find Dr. Kozine getting to know your children by participating in a variety of recess activities, and the kids love it. For example, I know my son has played soccer and Frisbee with him on various occasions. Now, we all know the past 2 years have been very difficult for everyone, and the administration has worked very diligently on a daily basis to make sure that our kids were safe, happy, and that things stayed as normal as possible. With things starting to change and open up, North Middle continues to do so carefully. Last week, administration held its annual parent book club in person in the brand new library, and it was a wonderful event. And the incoming sixth graders will have their orientation in person. And unlike the past 2 years of sixth graders, they will have a locker. So like I said before, they're working to bring normalcy and safety back to our kids. Carrie?
Yes, thank you. That's great. My younger one didn't have the chance to do the live orientation, but I think things are changing now to the better. Very good. So North Middle School is your kid home away from home. As a big family, North Middle School embraces diversity and encourages kindness. It has been honored by the Anti-Defamation League as a no place for hate for multiple times. As part of our inclusive culture, we welcome and depend on active parents who participate and volunteer their time to the growth of our children in school. We have many opportunities available for all parents to volunteer and to contribute their time and talent. So parents, teachers, school workers, we all work as a team for our students. It's like the old saying, it takes a village to raise a child, and we are all part of it. So just as we depend on you, the parent participation, we also strongly depend on the PTO dues to help fund so many programs in school. Because the last 2 years have been so unusual, we have not had many opportunities to do much of the fundraising. Therefore, please, PTO dues are really important for the funding of our future events, activities for our students. You can write a check or use the online payment. Detailed information can be found on our North Middle School webpage for the PTO webpage. So finally, we are a paperless school. Therefore, any reminders and information sharing about important events will only be sent home via email. We have the past events include a picture day, book fair, PTO meeting, author day, as well as many other special events, such as the one that we're currently having now to collect items to help people in need in Ukraine. Please read all the emails that come from the PTA and follow us in our Facebook page and check for updates on our North Middle School PTO webpage. If you have any questions, always feel free to reach out to any of us or by email or by other means. We'll share our email address in the message box. Before we start, you can ask questions related to tonight's topic. So you can type your message in the chat box. We'll collect them and then we will do the question and answer session after our amazing session by our staff first. Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Yi. Before we go any further, what I wanted to do is share a video that we had prepared that your children will also see when they arrive here in May for the orientation. We have 2 orientations set up, so they'll be coming at different times to see our school, but they'll get a tour of the building. They'll also get to be involved in a real middle school class. So I wanted to share a video that we've created for them that I think you'll enjoy as well. So
welcome to Great Neck North Middle School's 6th grade orientation. The aim of this video is to highlight some key information that will be important for you to know as the parent or guardian of a child entering middle school. First, let's get our bearings. This is the visitor's entrance, which you will use anytime you enter the school. Ring the doorbell and you'll hear. Please provide the security officer with your reason for visiting the building, and you will be permitted to enter the vestibule. Inside, you'll be asked for a form of ID. A photo will be taken for your temporary identification badge. Stand behind the yellow line and look up at the camera. Your ID will be returned to you, and you can then enter the building. Be Be sure to attach your adhesive ID badge to your clothing where school staff can see it. Once cleared, you can continue on to your assigned destination. Now that we're in, let's learn how to get to the main office. Make a left, go all the way down the hallway, then make a right. In this hallway, you'll find the counseling center. Mrs. Israel will be your 6th grader's guidance counselor. The counseling center provides a variety of services, including individual counseling, group counseling, assistance with classroom presentations, academic concerns, social and emotional concerns, parent-guardian contact, and program planning. Students are encouraged to see their guidance counselors and discuss academic and personal concerns. Now we've arrived at the main office. This is where you must report to if you need to sign out and pick up your child for early dismissal. Please note that if you wish to excuse your child from school before the end of the day, a note should be sent in the morning to inform the main office. The main office is also where your child will need to sign in if they arrive to school after 8:30 a.m. A late note, written and signed by a parent or guardian, will be required at the time the child signs in. Now that you know how to get to the main office from the visitor's entrance, let's backtrack a bit and talk about parking, as well as student drop-off and pickup. All visitors must park in the Parkwood parking lot and walk across the street to North Middle School. Please refrain from parking in the main lot, as these parking spaces are reserved for staff from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. All vehicle drop-offs and pickups will be on the North Middle School side of Polo Road, exclusively in the drop zone. To ensure the safe and orderly drop-off of your child, we ask that you do the following. Please arrive early. The doors on Polo Road will be open from 7:25 to 8:20 a.m. After 8:20, all students must be dropped off at the bus platform. Use the entire drop zone, which is about 150 yards of yellow marked curb, and drive down as far into the drop zone and let your child out of the vehicle. Drop-offs and pickups are not permitted on the eastern side of Polo Road. They're only permitted on the western side, or the North Middle School side. Please note the following Nassau County traffic laws regarding Polo Road. There are 2 no U-turn and no stopping anytime signs directly across the street from North Middle School. There can be no double parking on Polo Road. This creates an extremely dangerous situation where students are forced to walk between parked cars. Please do not use your cell phones while picking up your children. Distracted driving is a serious safety concern. And of course, please look carefully before pulling your vehicle out after dropping off or picking up your child. Nassau County Police will enforce the traffic laws to ensure the safety and well-being of our students. Okay, now that we're familiar with procedures for visits, pickups, and drop-offs, let's get to really know what goes on at North Middle. First, we'll watch a few clips of some of our veteran 6th graders talking about their 6th grade experiences, followed by a brief montage of some of the exciting things that happened in a year at North Middle School.
I was most nervous about switching in between classes because I was so disorganized in the beginning of the school year, so I thought I would get a lot of weaknesses and then I would get detention. It was actually the easiest thing for me because I knew where everything was in a week.
I was most nervous about having so much homework because you always have a lot of homework, but whenever you manage it, it's gonna be much easier than you think.
You have to do homework during the weekend, but you get to take iPads home and then play with it.
I think middle school is kind of better than elementary because you don't have to walk with a teacher and you don't have to wait online. You can do your own pace and walk your own way.
You have a lot more independence. There's a lot more clubs and activities you could do. 6th grade is different because you have much more classes and you have a much more homework and a lot of responsibility. But in the end, it's not really that much different from elementary school. The tips that I have for new 6th graders is get all your school supplies. Make sure every single one of your binders is organized, and also get a drawstring bag to carry all of it with you.
follow the school in like a square if you ever get lost, because the school is in a square.
That video always does me, and especially now looking back at what the last 2 years have meant for our students and our families. It's been, and the world. It's been a lot for all of us, and I am so looking forward to getting back to some of those things where we're all in person, and the kids are mask-free and able to really enjoy the activities that we offer here at North Middle School. So I always get a little nostalgic, and the smile that you see on my face is genuine, because to think that we're hopefully getting back to that place really excites me. Continuing on our slideshow, this transition, as I said, is going to be one of the most challenging, if not the most challenging in all of education. When the kids leave elementary school, they're leaving a setting that is fairly dependent. They really depend on people around them. They're self-contained most of the day. They come to middle school and they become fairly independent. They're moving 9 times a day. They'll have 9 different teacher personalities to deal with. So really, it is a big transition for them. When they get to the high school, it's kind of the same format, so that transition won't be as challenging. So we are the middle child of education, which we love, we embrace, because our kids are incredible, and this age group is just fantastic. And the teachers here at North Middle School and the staff, we understand the uniqueness of middle schoolers, and all of us love it, which makes us either crazy or a gift. And I like to believe we are a gift to our kids, because every day they excite us, they challenge us, and they really do bring us great joy. So I know they do to you as well. So I'm going to turn it over at this point to Ms. Anderson, who's going to speak about clubs and activities and just the importance of your child becoming involved in everything that North Middle School has to offer.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. I am Jennifer Anderson, and I'm one of the assistant principals here at North Middle School. I've been at North Middle School too many years to count. I started in the 90s, and I'm still here. I began as an English teacher, a dean, and now I'm an assistant principal. I love middle school. As Dr. Kozine said, I have my own 7th grader. He is the baby of 3 boys. Actually, his birthday is today. He's 13. So I have enjoyed watching my 2 older ones go through middle school and become involved and find the activities that they so enjoyed. And I am now getting to do it all over again with my 7th grader. But really, what middle school offers is so many different clubs and activities that the students can try so many different things, especially in 6th grade when they're not able yet to play a school-sponsored sport. So they can go to all different clubs to find out what it is that they really enjoy. So we have everything from the chess club to the art club to the drama club to the debate club. And at the beginning of the year, we have a club fair. And even this year, when we weren't sure about, COVID, we decided to have our club fair in the courtyard. outside. So the students could walk around, have an opportunity to see all the different clubs that we offer, and then to sign up for different clubs, and then to attend all different activities throughout the first several weeks until they finally decide upon what it is that they like. One of my favorite stories is that I used to run the school newspaper at North Middle School, and one of my editors began as a sixth grader, and then she was emailing me when she was at Michigan to say that she was the editor of her college newspaper at the University of Michigan, and it all began at North Middle School. So, the students will have so many different opportunities to find out what it is that they enjoy. We also offer the Homework Help Center after school, in addition to traditional extra help with teachers after school. And while the students may not be able to try out for sports until 7th grade, they will be able to participate in our intramural program, which offers different club athletics, before school and after school, and that schedule changes to meet the interests of the students who are our present 6th and 7th graders who want to participate in intramurals. So there are so many things at North Middle School that the students can get involved in. I'm so looking forward to meeting your children first in the springtime when they come to visit, and then in September when they become ours full time. So enjoy the end of elementary school. Those are some precious days ahead for you, and I look forward to seeing all of you very soon in person. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson. And again, folks, studies do show that the more a child is involved in his or her school, the stronger connection they have, the better they do academically, socially. And again, this is the time for our kids to really develop those skills. So please encourage him or her to get involved in our school. I'll tell your children the same thing when they come to see us in May. You have an opportunity now over the next few months to take a look at our website, like us on Facebook. I never thought I'd really be saying that out loud, but please make sure you visit our Facebook page, go to our webpage, see what's going on here. We do have some events coming on. Hopefully, as we open up more and more, there will be allowed for a general audience. So check the calendar, check our webpage, and see if there's an event that you can come to see at North Middle School. But we really do want you to be part of our school as soon as possible so that you can as well get acclimated to what's going on here. The next slide is a little bit bittersweet because it talks to us about Greenkill, which is no longer open, but we are looking at opportunities. And Miss Gunning, the other assistant principal, takes a lot of this on and deals a lot with our team leaders to prepare for our overnight trip for our students. So I'll turn it over to Miss Gunning at this time.
Thank you, Dr. Kozine. So I'm Nancy Gunning. I'm the second assistant principal at North Middle School. And much like Mrs. Anderson, I have been in Great Neck North Middle School too many years to count. And I too started off as an English teacher, and then a dean of students and a teacher, and then the assistant principal. So really, I've spent more time at North Middle School with your children and the children of North Middle School than I have with my own 3 children. I am just like you right now. I have a 5th grader in a neighboring school district who is going through orientation for her middle school. So I am living this with you. And she is my youngest of 3, so this is my last time doing the transition. And I remember how much more nervous I was when it was my first. But I will tell you that middle school is a much warmer, more collegial atmosphere than you're worried about or that the children are worried about. And Dr. Kozine alluded to this earlier, that your kids have spent their academic career with one teacher all day, and now they'll have more teachers to love them. And that's how I look at it, and that's how your kids will feel when they start at North Middle School. So one of the amazing activities that has been available to our 6th graders in the past, unfortunately for the past 2 years, we haven't been able to do this because of COVID. We are looking to reinstate our outdoor education overnight trip to a YMCA outdoor education camp. In the past, we used to go to Ashokan or to Greenkill, but this time around, we are looking to partner with the YMCA camp in the Catskills called Frost Valley. I went there as a 6th grader when I went to Herrick's Middle School. And it's just a really amazing time for 6th graders to get to know the other kids from the other 2 feeder elementary schools, JFK, Baker, Saddle Rock, and even Lakeville. And it's at the beginning of the year, typically in November, but I will say that we don't have our dates yet, so be prepared for any month of the year, where our kids will be traveling with some really brave and adventurous teachers who are willing to give up 3 days and 2 nights with their own families to go and host your kids in an amazing outdoor ed experience where they get to learn how to navigate, orient themselves using a compass, look at migrating birds, build a fire, do some team building activities, and without you. And for some of the kids, this might be their first overnight, and that's okay, because these are age appropriate experiences that we want to bring to the kids. So my fingers are crossed that we'll be able to host this event for your children. You will be getting a lot of annoying parent emails from me at the start of next year. We make sure that every child who wants to go can go. We make all accommodations available that we can. And I'm just really excited, not only for this, but to meet your kids and to get to know them and to get to love them. And by the time they leave us as 8th graders, they're so different from the 6th graders who arrived with us. So welcome to tonight, welcome to North Middle School. It is our privilege and honor to be with your children during this very challenging but never boring time period of their lives. So thank you for being here tonight, and I can't wait to meet you in person. Thank you. Dr. Kozai?
Thank you, Ms. Gunning. North Middle School, like most of the school, like all schools in Great Neck now, we have a one-to-one iPad initiative, which really ended up being a lifesaver during the time of the pandemic, where our students were able to access Google Classroom. I know we've all had enough Zooms for a long time at this point, so I'm glad that we are back live and in person with our instruction, and hopefully soon to see you also live and in person. But just as a reminder, they will be doing a lot on their iPads as well, but we are also going to do the traditional paper, pen, and pencil stuff as well. So please don't worry about that. And we do work with our kids to give them that hybrid model. So we don't like to say that we're a paperless school, we're less paper. So they will use digital submission of homework, and there'll be a lot for them to learn, but we do spend a lot of time doing that. And one of the ways that we can do that very well is we have a teaming structure at the middle school. And a teaming structure means that your children, it's called the concept of a Swiss, a small school within a school. We're taking kids from 3 different elementary schools predominantly, and even Lakeville, taking some students from there as well that are coming here. And we'll split them up into 2 different teams of about 125 each. So we go from having 250, 260 students to 2 different teams. Those students, and I'm sure Ms. Israel will explain this a little bit more when she speaks as a counselor, but we'll then have core classes together. So a lot of the time we'll be traveling with the same group of students who are of 126 possibilities. And then they'll also have encore subjects where they'll get to see other kids on the other team and also have lunch together. So I'm going to turn it over at this point to Ms. Sposito and Ms. Rice, who are the team leaders and work really hard to engage your students in team activities, team building throughout the school year, so they do really feel part of North Middle School. And there's my one joke of the slide session. So our kids will, as you know, amaze us with what they can do with their technology. So Ms. Rice, Ms. Sposito.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ms. Sposito, Christine Sposito, and I'm the team leader of Team Adventure and one of the math teachers of the 6th grade.
Hi, everyone. My name is Trina Rice, and I am an English teacher, and I am the team leader for Discovery.
As Dr. Kozine had mentioned, the 6th grade is broken up into 2 teams, Adventure and Discovery. Each team is made of our 5 core subjects: English teachers, reading, math, science, and social studies, who share the same group of students. A team is structured as a small school within a school, but what we really like to think of them as is more like a family. And we can't wait to meet your children and introduce them and welcome them into our 6th grade families.
So the teams meet once a week. We use the time to discuss curriculum, we plan activities, and we discuss how best to support our students. And we discuss ways to help those that are struggling, and we discuss ways to celebrate the students' achievements. We also use the time to have parent meetings, which is a time for the parents to come in and spend a period meeting with all of your child's teachers all at the same time. So a little bit different than parent-teacher conferences, but this is always a great opportunity to meet all of your child's teachers and really hear how they're progressing and how best that we can support them.
The sixth grade teams have worked extremely hard to provide a meaningful transition period for all the sixth graders. We always have planned activities at the start of the year to help them acclimate best to North Middle. These include tours of the building to make sure they know where they're going throughout their day. Mostly they just want to find the cafeteria for lunch. We also show them how to open a locker, which is always fun and takes more time than we always expect, and a lot of getting to know each other activities to start getting that family feeling. This year was really exciting as we introduced a new piece to our transition puzzle. This year, we implemented our first ever study skills curriculum.
So the sixth grade teams worked together to come up with a list of skills that we wanted to really enforce to ease their transition. The skills that we call the Fab Five we came up with are universal skills, which include listening skills, how to study, note-taking, and test-taking strategies. iPad basics, which they do know more than we do. So they are great with the iPad, but there are some little details that and different programs that we do go over with them so that they really become pros with the iPad. Interpersonal skills is another topic that we cover. My favorite that we did with them was email etiquette. We now get the most beautifully written emails from our students. In the past, some of our emails had the entire message written right in the subject line, but that does not happen anymore. We taught them how to ask for help, really how to advocate for themselves, coming to extra help, and really, really standing up for themselves as a way to, for them to learn how to best improve. We talked about conflict resolution. And then the fourth one is time management, which really, a lot of the middle school students come in struggling with because now they have multiple teachers and multiple classes, and when should they be able to do their homework and how best to schedule all their assignments. And so we were able to really help them figure out how best to manage their time now they're in middle school. And then the last one is organization. Again, what should be in their backpack, what should go in their locker, and really walk them through all of these steps, all to set them up to be successful middle school students. And the way it worked also, each core teacher chose one of the 5 skills that they felt passionate about, and they were the ones to teach that particular topic to the students throughout the beginning of the year.
Thank you, Ms. Rice. Thank you, Ms. Esposito. Moving on, one of the biggest changes you'll have at the middle school for parents is to have access to someone who will spearhead and communicate with you regarding your child, and also a person that will be a point person for your son or daughter to go to for advice, for recommendations, for suggestions along the way. So the school counselor will really take on that role. Ms. Israel has been through this cycle several times, so she knows middle school in and out, but really the school counselors are there for you if you have a question about a certain course, if you have a question about something that you're considering, if there's something going on over the weekend that you want to speak to the counselor about, or you want your child to go see the counselor. A school counselor serves many roles throughout the course of his or her day. So I know Ms. Israel has some great information to share with you regarding scheduling and other things that go on in the course of a day at a middle school.
So thank you so much. This is a wonderful time for me. It's very exciting. I get to meet your children. I've peeked at my roster. I see I have some siblings and some families that I'm familiar with. So I'm always excited when I can see some familiar faces and some familiar names. And I have the pleasure of working with your child for 3 years. So we get to know each other. And it's usually a very bittersweet time for me in 8th grade when they leave me to go to the high school. I threaten to keep some behind, but there's nothing like the bond that we create together. And I use the word together because as much as this is a very exciting time in your child's life, this is a time where they're changing academically, socially, their friendships are changing, their bodies are changing, their surroundings are changing. So everything about their world is changing. And while that's really exciting, that also comes with stress, and it can come with some anxiety. I'm talking about the parents' anxiety, because your anxiety is probably a little bit more heightened than your children's anxiety, because they're so excited and happy. They don't know, although some do. So I speak from experience too. I have 3 children. I remember begging my first child's 5th grade teacher to hold him back because I didn't think he was ready for middle school, but it was really me who wasn't ready. And we really want to assure you that we are a family. We get to know your child. I certainly spend a lot of time helping them with their lockers, helping them with tears when they forget to study for a test, if they leave something at home. And here we go. And, you know, am I cool enough? And will my friends still like me? And what if my friend doesn't like me? And sometimes friends change. And all these things are very big things to your children. And can I not do the work? So I always call myself the mom when you guys are not available, or the dad or the parent, because I'm the point person. And it's very, very important to me, and I tell this to all of your children, to come see me and meet with me and connect with me, and I'll call them in and they'll come in. And I don't only want to see them when there's a problem, I want to share good things with them. And that's how we create our bond over the 3 years. So we deal with their concerns. And then of course you have concerns as parents, and we all have been there. And, you know, if I could call my daughter's college professor from time to time, I would. But we have concerns too, and we're worried about our kids. So I'm not only there for your children, I'm there to answer any questions you will have, and you will have questions. And sometimes parents calling and they say, I'm so sorry to bother you with this. It's never, ever a bother, because any question you have needs to be addressed, and it might have to be addressed more than once. So please call me. Don't ever apologize. You're never bothering me. Email me. Remember, I was the parent who didn't want to let my child leave elementary school, but I had to. I was forced to. But and he's doing fairly well right now, most of the time. So what is their day going to look like? Well, that's really a question that comes up a lot of the time. So for the typical 6th grader, we're going to go back to that. Yep. Okay, there you go. So everybody has an English language arts class. Every 6th grader has a reading class. Every 6th grader has a social studies class, math, science, physical education, and lunch. Okay. Then everybody will take something that we call an exploratory bunch of classes. And that means half the year, your child will have family and consumer science. 1 quarter, which is 10 weeks out of the year, they'll have a music class, which will alternate with a computer class. Am I right about that? Yes. And then they will have an art, I have it written down. Let's see. Yep. Half a year is family and consumer science. 1 quarter is computers and music, and 1 quarter is art. I don't have health, but okay. Now, most 6th graders, I'm going to say most, but it's really, I would say a good portion of our 6th graders will take a foreign language. Not every 6th grader gets a foreign language. And for those students who don't start a foreign language in 6th grade, they'll start it in 8th grade. And they may have another service delivered during the time that other kids will have the language. And of course, your child will take hopefully band, chorus, or orchestra, and that will alternate with their phys ed class. Not every 6th grader will get band, chorus, or orchestra, and they may opt to take physical education daily. So, some things are for everybody. Everybody is different. So we'll work together. If you have questions, it's the beginning of 3 years. So I look forward to talking to you, to seeing you. I'm sorry that in a way that we're virtual, because I always love to meet parents, but we have plenty of time for that. And I look forward to meeting your children.
Thank you, Ms. Israel. And again, everything, I hope that when you receive the email tonight regarding this meeting, I did have an attachment on there, and a lot of the things that you're seeing tonight, like a sample schedule of the famous student I love our school. You can see that her day consists of what's going on throughout the day. You can see we have 4 quarters, so it's a little bit different than you have at the elementary school. They're about 10 weeks each. So, and this may look intimidating, for the kids when they come in, but our teams do a great job of walking students through their schedule, explaining exactly what day A means, what day B means, where they're going. And for those parents who are veterans here that have had children go through the middle school process, hopefully they can tell you that by the time the end of September rolls around, they're experts and they're looking to see, hey, can I be in the middle school orientation next year when the 5th graders come in, because they want to show off how much they've learned. So as we said earlier, well, before I get to the No Place for Hate, we also have a wide range of special education services. So if your child has an IEP, we are going to do everything and anything we can to help him or her have success and to engage with their learning. Mr. Mangan is our department chair for special education. He works closely with the point people at the elementary school so that when the students transition to middle school, we're aware of the needs of those students and able to adjust accordingly so that they immediately meet with success when they get to North Middle School. And all along the way, we'll make sure that their needs are being met. And if we have to adjust accordingly, we'll do so. Middle school is definitely a period of adjustment for everyone, like Ms. Israel said, for parents just as well as students. But as long as we all know that, we're human, we're going to make mistakes along the way. Our kids are going to be stressed on some days and be euphoric on others. That's okay. That's the beauty of having middle schoolers, and just understanding that, we had thousands of kids go through North Middle School, and we're in a good place, I promise you. The next thing I did want to stress is that we are, and as Ms. Yee and Ms. Adams said earlier, we're a school as that we try and encourage and celebrate students being kind to each other, to recognizing that really when it comes down to it, you're going to remember how people treated you. We want students to always look out for each other. And when we saw this initiative from the ADL years ago, we couldn't think of a better thing for a middle school than No Place for Hate. It's not tolerated here. Our kids are going to make mistakes. We know that. There are many adults who still make mistakes, but we hope to immerse them in an environment where they understand if they make a mistake, we're going to hold them accountable. But we're also going to use every opportunity we can as a learning experience for our students to learn and grow from that. I'm going to steal Ms. Gunning's favorite line. This is the time that we want our students to make mistakes, because in middle school, the consequences are fairly low stakes, but if they make the mistakes as they get older, then some of those consequences can be more severe. So we want to embed our students and immerse our kids in an environment of kindness, where there really is no place for hate. And we have a strong committee that works with our students for that. And it was mentioned, I think, by Ms. Rice.
Dr. Kozine, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Sorry about that. I lost for a second. Someone mentioned earlier about student advocacy. One of the biggest things we can give our children as they transition to middle school is their own voice, to let them know that they do have a voice, that they do matter, and we want to encourage that. And sometimes they may not agree with us. I'm sure you're starting to learn that. But that's okay. We want them to engage those skills. But we also want them to be the person who goes and speaks to a teacher about a low grade, or how can I do better in this? Or I want to talk to you about this question because I thought I had it right. The more they can do that, the more they can engage with their own voice, it's going to set them up for success, not only in middle school, but throughout their academic career and later in life. So we wanted to share with you a video of a young lady, as you can see, who definitely has found her voice. This is the famous Meg.
I don't think the audio is working.
Is the audio working?
Did you press that square that says share computer audio?
I'm going to try and share my screen again. I'm sorry about Megan. Can we hear that now?
Don't care. We really don't care about their teenage children. Obviously, I am a teenager. I'm 15 and I have some experience with being a teenager. Number one, we sleep. Crazy as it sounds, teenagers sleep a lot. When we're not awake at 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning, it's a sign that we're tired and we need to sleep to be able to function later on in the day. So you shouldn't just wake us up. Number two, we eat. We eat a lot of food. It's ridiculous. We just keep ingesting food because we're growing. We're not little like tiny 4-year-olds anymore. We're growing taller and we need food to make us not grumpy. Everyone's always hungry, it seems like, when you're a teenager, and it's just, I don't know. Number three, everything is a big deal. When something happens, it's a big deal for us. That's what teenagers do. It could be something really small, like someone wore the same shirt as us, and it could be the biggest deal in the world. And we just need your support and be able to say, yeah, honey, it's okay. I'm sorry that this happened to you. We will make it through the next time this happens, not suck it up. When we say we don't care, we really don't care. Sometimes my parents ask me, hey Meg, we're going out to eat, where do you want to go? I don't care. Well, what are you hungry for? You know, I don't really have a preference, I don't really care tonight. Well, do you have some suggestions? You can eat wherever you want and I'll go there. When we say we don't care, we really don't care. Do not keep parading us with questions. Do you care? Do you care? Do you care? Because we don't care. When we say we don't care, we really don't care. I was gonna clean my room, and then my parents asked me to clean my room, and suddenly it doesn't sound appealing anymore. I don't really know why that is. I think it's the, feeling like you don't have to do what your parents say. I don't really know, but that always happens to me. That brings me to number 6. Our rooms are messy. I'm looking around at my room right now, and my bed's unmade, and I've got books and stuff all over the bed, and I can't even, my closet's just, everything's just, it looks like the clothes monster exploded. So our room gets messy, and we will eventually clean it up. I'm probably gonna clean mine up today because it's driving me insane to not be able to walk around without stepping on a Lego. I don't even have a Lego, but I'm sure I would step on one in this room. Number 7. Sometimes we just need our friends. Sometimes we don't really want a parent to be like, what do you want? What do you need? You wanna go party? Let's go do something fun. We just want our friends to be there so we can rant to them and just hang out with them, and we don't want our parents. My day will always be fine or okay. If I don't say that, then something is up. My parents are always like, hey Meg, how was your day? Fine, or okay. But if I don't answer, something's up because something went terribly wrong at school, like that problem is someone wearing the same shirt as you. If we are having a bad day, bake us cookies. Remember, we eat and we have bad days, so when you combine food, it gets rid of our bad day and we're happy. So if you notice that we're in a bad mood and you need to get them cookies going. I'm joking. We just need someone to talk to if we have a bad day, so just be prepared that we're just gonna come and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. Number 10, none of this stuff will really be necessary for you to know if you just learn how to read our minds. That might be convenient or it could be terrible. I hope this video helped educate you of how to become a better parent, or if you're a teenager, how to be more teenager-y.
And that is Meg. We just like that video, and as being a father of 3 daughters, it's pretty much spot on. So it was enjoyable. We are excited. When we look at your kids, they're going to be the class of 2025, and then that means they'll be the class of 2029. So those of you that are looking towards the high school, I'll say it to you now, and you'll hear me say it probably several times as you go through North Middle School. But put down in your calendar for the first day of middle school to take a picture of your child somewhere in a prominent spot in your house, be it in front of a tree or the front step or the fireplace of opening day of middle school, and then wait 2.5 years and take that same picture, same place of what that young man or woman has developed into, because the change is incredible to see kids as they go. And I've had parents send me back the pictures and they said, Dr. Kozine, we listened to you, and here's our child when they were 10 or 11, and here they are when they're 14, and it's an incredible change. So it's going to be a great ride along the way. We appreciate you being here tonight, and now we have some time for question and answers. We've had some questions along the way. I'm going to stop sharing the screen so you can see all of us on the screen. I'll mention one of them, and then I know some people have answered along the way. There were questions about clubs and how many are too many. You know, it's like I always tell the kids, it's like the first time you ever go to a buffet where it's all you can eat. They want to join everything, but then they realize that that's a lot. So they'll start to choose the one or two, or maybe even three that they're really into and become part of that. But it also depends upon their choice. If they take part in our school musical, that's an all-consuming event that lasts for a couple of months. So, you know, we want them to get a taste for it. We have a club fair in the beginning of the school year that they'll be able to sign up and see what's going on in each of the clubs. And another parent had asked in the Q&A, what if they want to stop being in a club and join another? That happens too. They may have thought, man, I'm really going to love the computer club or the gaming club. But after they go, they say, you know what, that really wasn't for me, but I'm going to try chess now. We try and have them make decisions for some of them that are competitive competitions. Like if we have a math club and there's going to be some type of competition, we need them to be part of that on a consistent basis. And the one question that always comes up at these meetings, I didn't see it in the Q&A, but are interscholastic sports. New York state law does not allow sixth graders to participate in interscholastic sports. It's only when they become seventh and eighth graders that they begin that journey. We will have intramurals. They'll have great physical education experiences. And again, we're going to try and work with the Parks District as well to see if we can get more opportunities for our students to become involved outside of the school with the physical activities. But once they're in seventh grade, they can join. We have 4 different seasons, and they're more than welcome to go out for our teams. There are tryouts for some teams, there are walk-ons for others, but that's something that we can discuss in about a year from now. I don't know if there are any other questions that any of the panelists want to answer that they may have seen.
Sure, there was a question about the world language assignments. Parents had the opportunity with their child to fill out, which language they wanted to take. And then based on that, we do our scheduling accordingly. Typically, most students get their first choice. Sometimes there are scheduling issues and we need to make a phone call and have a conversation about, a choice that may not have been the child's first choice. And as far as electives, there really aren't elective choices in sixth grade. Everyone gets, the electives that Miss Israel reviewed. It's just really, is your child playing an instrument? Is that the violin or the clarinet? Or do they sing? So that's pretty prescribed for sixth grade. And then not until they're in eighth grade will they have more choice, but you have time for that.
I'll take a question. There's a question that says, will there be someone on the first day of school to help my daughter get to her class? As part of their transition activities, we make sure all of the students the first couple of days know where they're going. We tell them the secrets of the room numbers. We take them on a tour, and we make sure on the first day that they at least know someone in their homeroom that has the same classes of them to be able to help each other.
There's also some questions, Ms. Israel, regarding the language forms and or the music forms. I believe that was a Google form, right, Dr. Siegel, that was sent out?
Yes,
so
it was sent.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Oh, it was sent from the elementary school. But if you didn't get it, you could either check with your child's elementary school teacher, would probably be the best, or you could certainly reach out to me or to Mrs. Israel.
And keep in mind that we've had questions about when schedules will be received. Great Neck is definitely a destination location for people that are moving in. And in the course of the last 2 weeks of school, believe it or not, we could end up getting 20 to 30 new entrants. So we're mixing and matching schedules all throughout the summer, and even up to that very last weekend before we have our orientation, we are changing schedules. So students traditionally do not get their schedules to the first day of school. You'll get your homeroom assignment the week before school starts. They'll report to homeroom, and on that very first day of school, they will receive their schedules, and then they will work with the teams, as Ms. Sposito and Ms. Ray said, to really go through a thorough introductory process and an orientation process so they feel comfortable with their schedule. Someone had asked earlier, and I think Ms. Gunning, you may have answered it, but I don't know if you want to answer it aloud, about how you could keep track of your child's grades in so many different classes.
Sure. One of the amazing things about North Middle School is that all of our teachers post their grades on Infinite Campus and on Google Classroom. As a parent, you have access to all of this all year. So my students also, my own children, not my students, my own children use Infinite Campus and Google Classroom. And so as a parent, I'm able to monitor how they're doing by simply checking it. Some parents are a little, get obsessive about it and might check it every day. I do not recommend that. I recommend that you take a more holistic approach to how your children are doing in any class, in any grade. And maybe you check it once a week just to get a pulse on how they're doing in each of those subjects. And teachers, you also have to give teachers a chance to upload a score or to change a score if something was revised. But it's just a good idea to check it once a week. And you have access to that. If you log on to it once or twice using whatever personal device is good for you, then that will always pop up. And you don't always have to remember passwords. But I say this to parents all the time, remember, we give them iPads, we give them cell phones, but you own it. So if you want to know what's going on in your child's Google Classroom, you are allowed to, as a parent, to get into the Google Classroom as your child to see, oh, this is what you're doing in science, this is what you're doing in math. It sounds more complicated, but never before in the history of education, and I mean that, that's not an exaggeration, have parents had more access to what their kids are doing in school. It looks different because it's digitalized, but I have more access to what my kids are doing than my parents ever had to what I was doing in Herrick's Middle School. So it's right there at your fingertips. Grades are posted all the time. And you not only have an obligation to keep up with it as a parent, but you also have the ability to do so.
We also have questions about the intramural sports.
Intramurals take place in the morning. Now that we're back to having students in early in the morning, as well as sometimes in the afternoon, we change those up based upon student interest. And those are open to 6th graders through 8th graders. So intramural sports can take place for 6th graders through 8th graders. And we have, some mornings we'll have 50 kids down in intramurals enjoying basketball or doing some kind of other activity. And that begins around 7:25.
Sounds good. Dr. Kozine, we also have a question regarding the student orientation. Do we have a detailed information?
Well, the orientation really takes place. The students from each school, and depending upon what schools we combine, will come on a school bus to us. We'll do something in the auditorium before we have them do a tour of the school. We have our veteran students from North Middle School actually end up giving the tours, which is great. We go throughout the whole building. They have designated spots they're supposed to take them. And then we let them go to one of our 6th grade classes to actually take part in a real middle school class for a period. So they get to be part of that class. We have a giveaway that we're going to give them each this year. A little, don't tell them, it's a surprise. But it really is for them to get to know the school. Again, we haven't done this in 2 years. It got canceled in 2020. We didn't have it last year. So we're excited to have them live and back in person to our school. So that's going to be the orientation. And then also what takes place is Miss Israel and I will visit the elementary schools, usually towards the end of May, early June. And that's when the kids can sit there and ask any questions they might have still for us. It's a great opportunity. I get to see them in their setting. I get this, Mr. Jamanda, Ms. Bradley, Mr. Grimaldi invite us in, and we have a great conversation with the students. Again, I want them to get to know who I am, to hopefully have them recognize how important they are to our school and to me. And then, they get to meet Miss Israel, who will be their partner for the next 3 years as well. So that's part of the orientation process.
Sounds good. Great. Dr. Kozine, we have a question, actually a couple of questions regarding the reporting cards of how parents track their children's progress.
Well, again, as Ms. Gunning had said, we will have Infinite Campus, which is, we have live grading going on so that you'll always be able to take a look at that. I know there was a question about how often a teacher will contact you. Again, teachers are going to traditionally contact you if they see a significant drop in your child's performance. But again, this is a partnership. So as I'm the same as Ms. Gunning. I don't always check my own children's portal as much as I'll have conversations with them at the dinner table. That might be, hey, how did it go in this class? How did it go in that class? I would rather those conversations take place between us. But as we know, sometimes middle school students aren't forthcoming. So you might have to dig a little deeper. And that could be a quick look at the Infinite Campus or shoot out an email to a teacher. But then again, you can be contacted by a teacher. He or she may give you a call or shoot you an email to set up a meeting or the school counselor will notify you and ask you for a team meeting that you can come in and meet with the teachers. The report cards take place 4 times throughout the year. So every 10 weeks, you'll get a report card, and that's the progress report at that point for how your child is doing. None of that should really come as a surprise because those grades are live on Infinite Campus. So you should have an idea of how your child is doing, but the report card is the final transcript for that 10-week period.
Wow, we have quite a few questions, but all have been answered by you live and by our teachers and administrations. So far so good. No
And
more.
it's 8:01. So we did promise you about an hour tonight. On behalf of Ms. Sposito, Ms. Rice, Ms. Israel, Dr. Siegel, Ms. Gunning, Ms. Anderson, and all of North Middle School, welcome to our family. We're excited to really interact and see you all in person, to meet your children. Please know that we love what we do. It is, we get to work with kids every day. And I know some of you are shaking your head saying, oh boy, but it is a really great job. It's exciting. And there are days that just, you can't believe what happens in our school. And we really want you to be part of that. So please, as you think about going through the next 6 months, how you can be part of that, reach out to the PTO, and please be partners with us as we go through this journey together. We are always in this together. We're going to be reaching out to you for help, and we know that you hopefully will feel comfortable reaching out to us. So again, thank you to our incredible PTO. Thank you to the 115 plus parents who joined us this evening. And again, don't hesitate to shoot us an email. We're all very findable on our North Middle School website. If you have a question, don't wait on it. Don't sit on it. Shoot us an email, give us a call, and see what we can do to help you. Because right now, as of this evening, you're part of our family. So we're looking forward to meeting with you. All right, everyone, have an amazing night. Be well and be safe. Thank you.
Thank you.